always believed that family was supposed to be your safest place. The one spot in the world where you could breathe without fear. But the day my own sister tried to destroy the career I had spent years building, I realized how wrong I'd been. It started quietly, like a whisper of smoke before a fire. A strange email here, a suspicious message there, a sudden shift in how people spoke to me. I didn't understand it at first. I thought maybe I was overthinking, maybe stress was twisting my mind. But the truth doesn't hide forever. And mine came crashing down one morning when I walked into a meeting and found everyone staring at me as if I had become the villain in my own story. That was the moment I felt something crack inside. Something raw, something sharp. I didn't know exactly who had set me up, but I knew someone had. And deep down, in a place I didn't want to acknowledge, a tiny voice whispered the unthinkable. It's her. My sister. The person I'd supported, protected, and trusted more than anyone else. I didn't want to believe it, but the pieces were already forming a picture I couldn't ignore. That day became the first page of a chapter I never thought I'd have to live through. Betrayal from the one person I never imagined would betray me. And yet, looking back now, I'm glad it happened. Because that betrayal didn't break me. It woke me up. Growing up, my sister Anya and I were known as the inseparable duo. People used to joke that if you saw one of us, the other couldn't be far behind. She was older, louder, and fiercely competitive, but I never saw it as a threat. I admired her confidence, her charm, and the way she walked into every room like she owned it. When I started climbing in my career, a field she had once planned to enter but never did, I thought she was proud of me. She liked my achievements posts, hyped me up in family gatherings, and told everyone how hard I worked. But there were cracks I refused to see. Moments where she'd make subtle comments about my success being lucky timing. Times she'd say she could have done the same if she had tried. I brushed it off as sibling teasing. I didn't want to believe she meant anything deeper by it. Looking back, it wasn't harmless teasing. It was the beginning of resentment. I was too busy chasing my goals to notice the shadow that had begun forming behind me. And when my career finally hit a major milestone, a promotion I had fought tooth and nail to earn, I actually saw something flicker in her eyes. Not pride, not happiness, something colder, something heavy. But I ignored it. I convinced myself that family doesn't envy family. That love wins. That blood never turns against blood. I wish I had paid attention, because while I was celebrating, she was planning something I never would have imagined. Asterisk, the downfall didn't hit like lightning. It crept in, slow and suffocating. My colleagues began acting differently, guarded, distant, whispering behind closed doors. Then came the email. An anonymous complaint sent to upper management accusing me of manipulating numbers, mistreating team members, and stealing credit for work I supposedly didn't do. Every word was a lie. But lies don't need truth to cause damage, just the right audience. My manager called me into a room with that concerned, heavy stare people use when they've already judged you. I felt my stomach twist as he read the accusations aloud. It was surreal, like watching someone else's life fall apart. I defended myself, of course, but the seeds of doubt had already been planted. The investigation started immediately. Suddenly, I wasn't trusted Employee of the Year. I became the one under review. My projects were taken away. My approval access was frozen. My reputation was slipping right through my fingers. And the worst part? Whoever wrote that complaint knew everything, tiny details only someone close to me would know. That's when suspicion turned into a sinking certainty. Only one person had access to those details. Only one person had been close enough long enough. My sister. It felt impossible, unthinkable. But impossibility doesn't erase truth. And the truth was slamming against my chest so hard I could barely breathe. This wasn't bad luck. This wasn't workplace politics. This was sabotage. I confronted her this same night the investigation was announced. I didn't go in shouting. I didn't throw accusations. I simply asked her, "Did you send anything to my office?" The silence that followed was louder than any confession. She looked at me with wide eyes, not shocked, not hurt, just caught. And that told me everything. But she still tried to play innocent, acting confused, asking why she would ever do something like that. I pressed harder. Only someone who knows my schedule, my workload, my projects. Only someone who had access to my laptop could have written that. Her face stiffened. Then she said it. You're always getting everything. Maybe it's time you learned what it feels like to lose. It felt like my entire world tilted. Hearing your own sister say those words, it's a type of pain you can't prepare for. She admitted it openly. She hated that I was succeeding. She hated that our relatives compared her to me. She hated that I was the golden one while she felt invisible. So she decided to make me fall. She said it with so much bitterness that I felt something inside me close off forever. I walked out of her house that night and something became painfully clear. She didn't just betray me, she wanted to break me. And I knew then I had to fight back. Revenge doesn't always mean chaos. Sometimes the smartest revenge is quiet, patient, controlled. I didn't want to ruin her life the way she tried to ruin mine. I wanted truth. I wanted justice. And most of all, I wanted my career back. So I started gathering evidence. I traced the anonymous email to a device that had been connected to my Wi-Fi multiple times, Enya's old tablet. She forgot that I had admin access to the home router logs. Next, I checked my cloud backups. She had logged into my laptop during a family dinner weeks earlier. The timestamp matched the period. When the complaint was drafted, then came the final piece, a voice message she accidentally sent to one of her friends, complaining about how this plan better work because she was tired of hearing about my achievements. Her friend forwarded it to me with an apology. Within days, I had a complete file. Timestamps, logs, screenshots, audio proof. I didn't run to expose her immediately. Instead, I presented everything to HR and the investigations team. Their expressions shifted from suspicion to shock to embarrassment for ever believing the lies. And that was only the beginning. I wasn't going to let her walk away clean. But I was going to let her destroy herself with her own actions. HR called me in, but this time the entire leadership board was present. They apologized, reinstated me, cleared my name, and even awarded me back pay for the stress and lost opportunities. Then they asked the big question. Would you like to press charges? I could have, easily. The evidence was solid, undeniable, airtight. But something in me refused to sink to her level. Instead, I asked them to send an official warning letter to her workplace, a place where integrity mattered deeply. I didn't want to destroy her career, but I wanted her to understand consequences. The letter reached her employer. She was called in, questioned, embarrassed. She wasn't fired, but she was placed under strict monitoring. Her reputation, the one thing she cherished more than anything, was shaken. Meanwhile, mine rose even higher. The company publicly recognized me for my resilience and professionalism during the false allegations. Suddenly, the same people who whispered behind my back were praising my strength. And my sister. She avoided me entirely. When she finally called, her voice was trembling. Not with guilt, but with fear. She asked why I didn't save her. I calmly told her the truth. You pushed the first domino. I just stopped it from crushing me. That moment was the true climax. The moment she realized she hadn't just lost her plan. She had lost me. With everything resolved, I focused on rebuilding my life. The work relationships I feared losing became stronger. People respected me more, not for the victory, but for the way I handled the storm, quietly, maturely, without turning into the villain she tried to paint me as. My sister sent messages for weeks, switching between apologies, excuses, and emotional manipulation. But I didn't respond. Forgiveness is possible, but trust once broken like that doesn't grow back easily. I learned to protect my peace. I learned to keep my distance. And I learned that winning doesn't always look like crushing your enemy. Sometimes winning looks like standing tall while someone else falls under the weight of their own choices. In the end, my life moved forward. My career advanced even further. And her plan, her jealousy, her betrayal became nothing more than a chapter I survived. I didn't win by hurting her. I won by refusing to let her destroy me. There's a painful truth people don't like to talk about. Not every enemy comes from outside. Sometimes the people closest to you carry the sharpest knives. But betrayal doesn't define you. Your response does. I learned that protecting your success doesn't make you selfish. It makes you wise. I learned that family isn't always chosen, but boundaries are. And most importantly, I learned that revenge doesn't always need fire. Sometimes the most powerful revenge is simply showing that you can't be defeated. My sister tried to ruin my career. She tried to shatter my confidence. She tried to make me fall. But in the end, I rose higher. Not because I fought dirty, but because I fought with truth. And that is a victory no one can take away.